In this video, I want to talk to all you young lawyers, and I want to share with you some tips on how you can become a better medical malpractice lawyer. Hi everybody, my name is Frank Spector. I'm a medical malpractice lawyer in Maryland and in DC. I've been doing this for over 33 years. I've represented thousands of clients and have had the opportunity to help them get the compensation and the justice that they deserve. I was also an adjunct professor at my law school, and I shared with my students the tips that I'm sharing with you in these videos. In a previous video, I talked about the importance of being very familiar, almost intimately involved with the medical records and understanding the medical records from front to back. And I have a playlist, so please refer to that playlist so you can take advantage of that video. But today I want to share with you an example of how knowing the ins and outs of the medical records can help you win your case. So I once had a case where the allegation is that there was a failure to treat an infection. And I had gone through all the medical records, I went through all the lab work, and I saw on one of the days that there was blood work that indicated that the patient had an infection. Now, full disclosure, I represent patients in medical malpractice cases. I don't represent the doctor. So I was able to see in the medical record that my client was starting to show the signs of an infection through the blood work. Now, this was in a very obscure part of the medical record, and you really had to do a lot of work to find it. But I knew from my experience, and what I shared in my previous video was, I knew those medical records better than anyone. It wasn't so much that I was smarter than anyone else, I had just done the work, and I knew every aspect of that medical record. So when it came time to taking depositions, I had an expert deposition of a witness on the other side. This was a doctor that was called by the defense. And I asked that doctor what lab work shows evidence of an infection. I didn't talk about the medical records right away. The doctor said, well, if you have this blood work and that blood work and this blood work that's abnormal, that can be signs of an infection. And I said, and if you as a doctor saw those signs, what would you do? And the doctor said, well, I would order the appropriate medicine, the appropriate antibiotics to make sure that I was able to fight that infection. And I said to them, and getting an infection early is better than getting an infection later. And that doctor agreed. And I said, there can come a time when the infection gets so bad, if it's left untreated, that it could cause terrible damage to a patient and even cause death. And that doctor said yes. And I said, so it's the responsibility of a doctor to be able to see the signs of an infection early by looking at the blood work and then do the proper treatment. And the doctor said, that's true. Now, I didn't go to any more testimony to show that doctor anything in the medical record because I didn't want that doctor to explain it away. But I made my point because that doctor did not know that there were signs in the medical record of an early infection from lab work. And therefore, I was able to create a very powerful part of the testimony without going overboard. All I wanted to do was establish the fact that if you recognize the signs and symptoms of infection early, that the standard of care is to give treatment. I think I proved my point, and it turned out to be a winning strategy in the case. I hope you found this information valuable. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe button below. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.